questions though, and I know recently we've been adding our calculators back in. I feel like a large part of the AP exam is calculator relating to integrals, only because I think a lot of integration involves kind of crazier decimals. So this is in our notes packet from Friday. We're doing the last two examples from that today. Yes. And this is actually based on like an actual situation that happened a couple years ago. So a couple years ago after the AP Calc exam, there was a question about potatoes and bananas. And a bunch of kids posted memes about it. And they actually like got in trouble. But they like posted it within like too quickly within the exam being given or turned back in. Like you're not allowed to post or talk about it for so many hours. So it says after the AP Calc exam, students posted memes at a rate of M, where M is measured in students per hour and T is measured in hours. After 12 hours, the College Board began canceling scores of students posting the memes at a rate of, where C is measured in students per hour and T is hours. Let S of T be the number of students who had posted memes but have not yet had their scores canceled. So your score might not have been canceled, but you still posted the meme, and then later on your score got canceled. So it says, after 24 hours, how many students have posted memes? So, if M of T represents the rate of students per hour, how do I find number of students? Do I derive M or integrate M? If I want students, what do I do to a rate to find that if the rate is students per hour? Integrate. And if we want to know after 24 hours, we're going to integrate from 0 to 24 of M of T dt. If this was an open-ended free response question, that is what you have to write down, and then the answer you get from your calculator. I wanted to get a calculator that didn't have lines on it. So what I would do personally is type M of T in Y1, because I don't know if I'm going to need it again. So why not type it so that I don't have to type it over and over and over? So I would put M of T in Y1. Then I would hit second quit, go to Math 9, type my upper, type my lower, use the vars, y vars, function Y1, so that it puts my equation I put in Y1 in, and I'm deriving with respect to x. So I have my integral on my paper, my integral on my calculator. I have my calculator set to float right now, but you could change your mode to be 3 or 4, so it auto calculates for you the number of decimals. But this is 151.953. Now, what?
What button did you get Y1?
You get vars right here below the little arrows. And then you go over once to y vars. And then you hit enter on function. And it will put Y1 up. Okay. Now, be careful. This says round your answer to the nearest whole number. So what I would do to be safe is write down my 3 decimals. Oh wait, this calculator, I'm so sorry. This calculator, I knew that answer didn't sound right. It was in degrees. Because this isn't my it's on my normal calculator. I grabbed it so it didn't have lines. Sorry, make sure you're in radians. Now do your answer. And what I was saying is I would write down my decimal, but then I would say that that is approximately 3,529, and my units is students. My units are students. Because I'm using my calculator and the document camera, I'm going to flip off the back light so it doesn't glare on you. Sorry. Okay. And then part B says at t equals 19, S of t, is it larger or smaller? So we need to know what S of t is. Well, S of t represents the number of students who posted memes but have not had their scores canceled. So S of t is the integral of students who posted memes minus the students whose scores have been canceled. And here's where you have to be really careful. Scores canceled does not start till 12 hours after the AP exam. So my students posting memes started as soon as the exam finished, but my students that had scores canceled didn't start till hour 12. This question in particular is asking me about time 19. So if I want to know at time 19 if it's larger or smaller, if I want to know if the original is increasing or decreasing, what do I look at? If you want to know if the original is increasing or decreasing, what do you look at? The derivative. Where are we looking at the derivative at? 19. So the derivative of the integral becomes that value. So that became m of t minus c of t. But then we're looking at these at 19. So that's like m of 19 minus c of 19. And now you can see why it was helpful to keep m in my calculator. Because what I can do now is just go over to my table and type in 19. And m of 19 is 140.62, and if you need all your decimals, you can just highlight that 140 and it puts them all at the bottom. So that becomes 140.623 minus, and then we'll have to plug in c of 19. So c is 3 second e And you go to alpha y equals, get that fraction, 0.26439 times 19 squared all over 24. And we get 160. So it's 140.623 minus that answer there. And we get negative 19.425. That value is negative. If the derivative is negative, then the original is decreasing. In this case, that means that it is getting smaller. And if you wanted to justify it out, you'd say it is getting smaller because s prime of t is less than 0 at t equals 19. And then part C, at what time is the number of students that have posted memes but have not yet had their scores canceled a max? At what time would a max occur? Well, a max is going to occur when the derivative is equal to 0. We just found the derivative up above. So what's nice about this is that the derivative is equal to m of t minus c of t. So we want to know when that would be a 0. Well, that's a 0, essentially, when m of t equals c of t. Are we okay with that? So on your graphing calculator, again, your calculator is your friend on this problem. What you could do is type c of t in y2. And then find their point of intersection. Now, we know that their point of intersection has to occur between 12 and 24, because the entire range of the problem is 0 to 24, but C doesn't even